Okay, so what if I told you your content could build real, actual influence, the kind that converts instead of just chasing empty views? Well, we're about to break down a super powerful four-part framework from a creator who is getting absolutely staggering results doing just that.
Take a look at this number, 32.7 million. That's how many YouTube views Alex Hormozi got in a single month. And let me tell you, that was not a fluke. It was the result of a very specific strategy for building influence.
And hey, if the views weren't enough to get your attention, how about this? $100 million. That's the value of sales from his book launch in just 72 hours. These numbers aren't here to brag, they're here to show you the power behind the framework we're about to unpack.
So, what is the core problem that this whole framework is designed to solve? Well, it's that feeling, that frustrating cycle of making content day in and day out, but not actually getting the customers you want. Hormozi just nails it when he says, the issue is the content you're making is not attracting the customers you want.
So what's the fix? It's a beautifully simple four-part framework he calls SPCL. It stands for status, power, credibility, and likeness. And it's all about making that crucial shift in your focus away from just views and towards real, tangible influence.
All right, let's dive into the first pillar. S is for status. You can think of this as the foundation of influence. It's really all about giving people undeniable proof that you are someone worth listening to in the first place.
But what does status actually mean here? It's not about being famous or having a blue check mark. The real definition is controlling a scarce resource that other people want, but only within a specific context.
Hormozi uses this brilliant analogy to explain it. Picture a really busy bar on a Friday night. Who has all the status in that room? The bartender. Why? Because he controls the one scarce resource everyone wants, the drinks. People are literally waving money at him, trying to get his attention. But here's the kicker. The second that bartender clocks out and walks out the door, poof, that status is gone. It's all about the context.
Okay, so once you've got some status, you can start building on it with the second pillar, P for power. And this is interesting. Hormozi actually says that if you could only have one of these four pillars, this would be the one. So you know it's important.
Now, power here isn't about being the boss. He calls it say-do correspondence. It's a simple feedback loop. You tell someone to do something, they do it, and it actually works for them. They get a good result. That one successful action builds an incredible amount of trust, and it makes them way more likely to listen to you the next time.
Building on that earned trust from power, we come to our third pillar, C for credibility. Now, at first glance, this might sound a lot like status, right? But there is a really important difference between the two.
See, credibility is all about objective, third-party proof that is really hard to fake. Let me give you an example. Having $1 million in the bank, that's status. But having a Guinness World Records certificate on your wall that proves how you earned that money, now that's credibility. It's that external, verifiable stamp of approval.
So, we've established status, we've built power, we've proven our credibility. The final piece of the puzzle is L for likeness. And this one is all about forging a genuine, human connection with your audience. Likeness happens when your audience sees a little bit of themselves in you. It could be because you share the same values, or maybe you have a similar background, or sometimes it's just, your vibe. And the best part is, the best strategy for likeness is to not have a strategy at all. It's just about being authentically you.
So how does this all work when you stack them together? Well, the perfect analogy is your parents. Think about it. When you were a kid, they had status. They controlled all the resources, like food and shelter. They had power. You followed their advice thousands of times and learned that it usually worked out. They had credibility. They had decades of real-world experience. And of course, they had likeness. I mean, you literally share their DNA. That combination creates an almost unbreakable level of influence. Okay, so that's the theory. It all makes sense, right? But how do we actually put this into practice? Well, a huge piece of the puzzle is your content format. It's way more critical than you probably think. Just look at the math here. It's kind of wild. To earn 2 hours of a viewer's time, which is where you build real connection, you need them to watch 480 of your 15-second videos. 480! But with 1-hour videos, they only need to watch 2. So, which format gives you a better shot at showing off your status, power, credibility, and likeness? Yeah, it's not even a fair fight. There's a perfect story from Mr. Beast that captures this idea. At some event, they measured the audience applause for different types of creators. A-list movie stars? Barely a clap. Short-form creators got a little bit of noise. But the long-form YouTubers? The applause was loud. And then,
When the live streamers came out on stage, the entire stadium just erupted. The lesson is crystal clear. The longer and more real your content is, the deeper the connection you build. And all of this points to a massive, and I mean massive, mindset shift. The goal is no longer to just be on social media. The new goal is to be on interest media.
What in the world does that mean? It means you stop trying to please everybody. The core insight here is that the content is the targeting. The algorithms today are so ridiculously good that if you make a video about, I don't know, fixing vintage pianos, it will go out and find the people who want to fix their vintage pianos. Your job isn't to find the audience. Your job is to make amazing content for them.
And here's why that's so powerful. Look at the US market. Only about 9% of people even own a business. And a tiny fraction of them, 0.5% of the total population, have a business making over $1 million. So if your content is for that specific person and your video only gets 100,000 views, you're not failing. You are absolutely crushing it because you're reaching your exact target market.
The proof is right here. Hormozi found 2 different businesses, both doing over $1 million a year. And get this, both of them had fewer than 5,000 followers. It just proves that a small, hyper-engaged audience where you have deep influence is worth so much more than a massive audience that barely knows who you are.
And that really brings us to the single most important question you should ask yourself. Take a hard look at your own content strategy. Is it built for views, or is it truly built for influence? Because after everything we've just talked about, you know that the answer to that question, well, it changes everything.